Mm, Welcome back. Hey, welcome in YouTube. I can't see your name in the chat. So hey Nisi, hey Rikasha, how are you guys doing? I'm just checking in real quick with y'all on my lunch break, just tapping in with all the postpartum moms. Just a backdrop for any new moms. Hold on, I think I'm connected to my Bluetooth. Y'all give me a second. Y'all, let me know if y'all can hear everything clearly. Hey, Nisi, how you doing, Mama? Let me know if y'all can hear the audio clearly. I was just connected to my car, so please tap in the chat if you can hear, if you don't mind. And then tell me a little bit about yourselves. Like, let me know, are you postpartum? Are you pregnant? Are you a parent? Are you a not parent? Are you a woman just thinking about having a baby? Hey, user 1751574, how are you doing? But tap in and let me know how you guys are doing. YouTube, I'm not seeing any of your names, but I see we do have some YouTube family in here. So if you guys can tap into the chat to see if I can connect with y'all, give you guys a shout out and read any questions or comments you might have. Hey, like Ches, 7 months PP and still sluggish. Hey, Mama, how are you? How are you doing? How are you feeling? How are you healing? How's baby doing? 7 months pregnant, postpartum and still sluggish. I imagine that's because you're not getting a lot of rest, and all of us heal at a different pace. So shout out to you. I hope you and baby are doing good. Nikisha, welcome. And I've got you guys both also again on TikTok and YouTube. Hey, cool Nana, Helen, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Like Ches is a first-time mom. So excited for you and your second. Thank you so much. He's getting so big, you guys. He is officially 11 weeks as of today, and when I tell you he's getting chunky, I'm super excited. I put him in size 2 diapers today, so big excitement, right? They go up a diaper size. Hey, Mama Sam, welcome back, honey. Hey, Amanda, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Let me see if I missed anybody. Thank you for checking in on the audio, Nisi. I appreciate that. All right, guys. How are you feeling? I'm feeling pretty good. I am trying to figure out a good routine for myself at home, for the babies, for my job. I want to start getting back in the gym, and I want to be able to touch base with you guys every single day. So I'm still kind of figuring out the best way to work that schedule. Right now, I'm thinking I'm gonna try to tap in with you guys midday around lunchtime. I did a live last night with the kids, which I usually do, and it was just very chaotic, and I just don't want to put you or the kids through that with not being able to focus my attention here or there. So let me read some of these comments and make sure that we're tapping in and touching base with everybody. Mama Sam says, hold on, let me scroll. Mama Sam says, it gets better, right? I had bad postpartum anxiety. So anxiety is definitely something that we tapped in about, and we talked about, you know, touching base with your OB and seeing if she can get you or he can get you a referral to go see, I think it's called like a postpartum specialist, but there is a doctor that works especially with women who are going through postpartum. So anxiety is definitely a very real feeling, especially while you're pregnant, right? Because your mind is just racing in a bunch of different directions. You don't know what's going to happen. Everything is so unclear, and anything can happen with pregnancy, delivery, birth, all that good stuff. But tap in if you're also somebody who's experiencing a lot of anxiety postpartum, which can come from trying to balance everything, right? Like you're trying to handle yourself, you're trying to handle the baby, you're trying to make sure the house is good, you're trying to make sure, you know, maybe you're having milk production issues, maybe you're not producing enough milk, maybe you're overproducing and you're trying to adjust to pumping and storing and bricking the milk and everything like that. So all of it can be really, really stressful and definitely cause some anxiety. Hey Desiree, how are you, Mama? She says, I'm 7 months postpartum. We have two seven months postpartum mommies in the chat. And then Mama Sam is 6 months postpartum, all of the above. Hey Priscilla, hey Patinia. And I saw somebody else come through with the name God, but I missed it, so I apologize. You guys feel free to re-enter. Hey Shay, welcome, welcome. God is good. God is good is 4 months postpartum. So we have 7 months, 6 months, 4 months, and myself, everybody. Hey Gigi, hey Ramsey. How are babies doing? Hey Rozzy, And how is everybody healing, man? Hey, Rihanna, Jeannie, you guys tap in. So for anybody new that's joining us, we're just kind of touching base a little bit about, you know, feeling a little bit of anxiety and, you know, feeling sluggish postpartum. So the ladies, tap in and let us know how you guys are doing. And if you have any tips and tricks that you want to share with the moms that's kind of giving you some energy and helping you get through the days, you guys feel free to share that information as well. Angela Sydney says, I feel it's completely blurry right now. She's feeling like it's completely blurry right now. And hey, missing info from YouTube tapping in saying, God is good, stay strong, man. Definitely want to keep a positive mindset. So thank you so much for that. Got some ladies feeling blurry, feeling sluggish. Desiree says, I do fine. I have my days that I feel extra emotional. Hey, lovely T. Hey, Sarah. Yeah, man, the emotions are definitely up and down. I think a lot of moms can attest to that, having like one good day or one bad day or just random burst of anger or sadness or like we were talking about earlier, anxiety. So what are some emotions that you guys are experiencing right now? Hey, hibiscus flower. All right, so we have from the YouTube family, Mafo Mangani. Oh, I apologize, I'm butchering your name. Mangani, I'm gonna read the last name. Mangani says, hello, I'm almost 3 months postpartum. I'm going back to work in a few weeks. I feel anxiety, but about my daughter, she's 6. The uncertainty gets to me. I think a lot of moms feel the same way about having to go back to work, man, with your newborn baby. You don't know how the baby's gonna feel, how you're gonna feel. You're concerned about, you know, even if you're leaving your baby with a family member, whether it's a mom or I don't know, a close cousin or something like that, or you're taking your baby to daycare, we all get a little bit of anxiety, not just because we're going to be away from the baby, we're going to be missing the milestones, maybe we're going to feel like we're missing some of that bonding time. So there's always a lot of emotion and stress that comes along with that separation, and I understand that completely. Any moms that are experiencing the same thing with going back to work and having to leave baby, y'all tap in and let us know how y'all are doing, how y'all are holding up, and what that experience is like for you. Hey, Carolina, welcome back. Caroline Cornelia, excuse me. Hey, Mama, welcome back. She says, hey, I know you always ask others this, and help others, but how are you and your kids? I hope you're well, sweetheart. Thank you, Mama. Thank you so much. We're good, man. And I actually wanted to talk to you guys today about something specific. Yesterday during the chat, someone asked how I was adjusting with the baby getting back to daycare. And in that moment, I didn't really have an answer. Like, I was just like, I'm okay. You know what I mean? And I realized it dawned on me earlier this morning, actually, when I was getting them ready. And maybe I was aware of it before, but I've suppressed so much of my feelings. And I felt myself also kind of not even getting too attached to my son after he was born, because I knew that I wasn't going to have that long with him before he had to go to daycare and I had to go back to work. So a part of me did kind of not get too close to my baby. And that sounds so strange when I say it out loud, but I did that to protect myself mentally and emotionally, because I wanted to be able to stand on my own 2 feet when I went back to work. I didn't want to put myself in a position where I was super emotional, or I allowed myself to break from being sad from being away from my son, you know what I mean? So today I thought about it, and I've been realizing that I've kind of been dragging out the getting ready process in the morning with the kids. Something that should take 30 minutes to 45 minutes has been taking me an hour and a half to 2 hours, just like getting them dressed. And I realize that's because I'm like, this is a little piece of the day that I have with them, and I feel so guilty not taking advantage, not soaking up that time. So that's something that I'm struggling with personally, is trying to find a way to not feel guilty about not having enough time with them in the mornings and in the evenings. So that's my kind of where I'm at with it right now. Carolina says, also, I love the whole outfit and hair, everything today. Thank you, Mama. Y'all, thank you. I appreciate that. Let me tap in real quick. Let me see. I think I'm missing some comments on TikTok. So let's see where we at over here. And y'all know I always have to scroll and go back, because I try to stay in order and I try to make sure I shout out everybody, okay? Okay, Desiree says, I do fine. I have my days. I think we touched on Desiree. Monday TV. Yeah, Desiree, let me know what emotions you're feeling. I think I asked you guys this earlier, but y'all let me know what emotions you're feeling. Monday TV says anxiety. I was just prescribed medication. I had a close coworker friend that shared with me she had to get meds when she went back to work. She had to go to her doctor because her postpartum was so severe, and being away from her daughter, you know, caused her, it was affecting the way that she worked. So I understand that completely. I'm glad that you were able to get some prescription, man, because it makes a difference. Mama Sam says, I feel like it won't ever get better. It's one thing after another lately. I understand that completely as well, man. Sometimes it's hard to kind of step back and look at the big picture, like, okay, the baby is small, the baby is going to grow. I'm only going to deal with this newborn phase for 0 to 6 months, and then we're going to move into, you know, the baby getting older and moving around and stuff like that. Sometimes when you're in that phase where they're completely dependent on you and tied at the hip, and it feels like you're just in this limited space and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. So I understand that completely. And especially when there's like things compounding, like let's say for instance, you get out of the hospital. As soon as you get out of the hospital, you got to schedule the baby's appointment, get the baby to the appointment, get this done, get that done. It does always feel like, whether it's something like that or a different example, there's always something going on. I got to stop to pump, I got to stop to feed the baby. There's one thing after another, and that's a simple way. That's not talking about anything extreme. So I definitely understand that, Mama Sam, as well. Desiree says to Mama Sam, yeah, I feel that I'm raising a family away from family and it gets so hard. Yes, not having that village, not having that immediate support system can definitely take a toll. So I hope that you have someone close enough to you, Desiree, that can, you know, lend a helping hand and be supportive and be a support system for you, because it's not easy managing a household, a family with a newborn baby, man. Mama Sam says, I have 5 kids total, super far from family, man. And you know, you do have some moms out there that'll say their kids are their family, especially people that are in situations like you ladies who are so far from their family members. Even just having your kids around you, man, it gives you some kind of drive and motivation to keep on keeping on every day, even though it's extremely difficult balancing all of that. Y'all, I'm scrolling, bear with me 1 second. Mama Sam says, I love that you're building a community of moms who can relate and feel less alone. Thank you so much. I feel like that's something that's so important. I remember I had so many days, and again, if my eyes are darting back and forth, you guys, it's because I'm on the two channels. But I remember having those days. My husband was away for most of I think he was there for 2 weeks solid. And then most of the newborn phase, I had the baby, I had my toddler and stuff like that. And it feels so lonely sometimes. Like you're at the house, you're by yourself, you're breastfeeding, the baby is doing this, the baby needs that, you're getting up, you're taking care of your other kids. And it just feels like this routine of, oh my God, like when is it gonna end? Like when am I gonna come up for air? You know what I mean? So, and it was especially hard for me because I am one of those really hyper independent women, and so I didn't want anybody to help me. I didn't want anybody around me at one point. If it wasn't my husband, I really didn't want any help. So it got really, really lonely, and it really made me think about how many moms are out there with no support, with nobody to talk to about what they're going through. And so many women are dealing with so much. Like postpartum depression is real, and just the stress, the anxiety, all of that is so real. And so many of us are going through it alone without feeling like we have somebody to even talk to about it, or somebody. We might feel like so alone, like nobody else in the world is experiencing what I'm experiencing. Nobody understands exactly what it's like to be in my shoes and deal with what I'm dealing with. But there's so many of us out there, so it's just a matter of us connecting. Hey Carls, thank you for the follow. Elle says, I have 3 children under 4.5 years old. I am 6 weeks postpartum and trying to get another 3 months off work. Man, I hope you're able to get that. Are you located in the States, Elle? So I always like to shout out the moms who are dealing or who have 3, 4, 5, 6 children, because you guys are like super moms. Y'all, like being able to juggle all of that, and then on top of that have 3 children under 4 years old, or let's say you have 2 under 2. We had a couple moms check in yesterday who were freshly postpartum, either with a toddler and a fresh set of newborn twins, or they had twins already and now they were just having a baby. So imagine newborn 2 or 3 kids under 3 and 4 years old. That's not an easy task, man. And you definitely don't get the credit that you should for being able to be, Lord, you don't get the credit that you should for being able to manage that. So I hope that you're able to work it out with your job for you to get that extra time off, Elle. You definitely deserve it. Mama Sam says, my nervous system is running crazy. Learning ways to calm it down and relax and reset. Absolutely. My biggest thing for me was at one point, I think around week 5, and I say this over and over again, I really started to prioritize my nutrition, because at some point that sleep deprivation really starts to kick in, and it just puts you in, I mean, you're just like in survival mode, right? So the nutrition and just giving my body what it needed to hold me over those tough times, that was something that I kind of did to help calm myself and not feel like I was just like on edge all the time. Faith Jackson, welcome Faith, how are you? Faith says, my emotions are everywhere. I'm trying to balance them. I know that sounds crazy. It doesn't sound crazy at all, man. I remember for me personally, and we've had a lot of moms kind of share that they're experiencing some really difficult postpartum times. For me, my first one kicked in, I think, at about 3 days postpartum. It was like the day after I got home from the hospital. I wasn't producing any milk, and the donor milk that I'd purchased from the hospital had run out. So I ordered Infamil for a grocery delivery. Something went wrong with the grocery delivery. It was delayed 3 hours, and I had a full, complete meltdown, like a full meltdown about not being able to get that formula. And I boohoo cried on the phone with my husband and just had a whole breakdown. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on with me? Like, it's just a simple delay in the grocery order. Why am I reacting that way? So you feeling like your emotions are everywhere, that's a normal part of the process. And I wish that there was more understanding and sensitivity towards that, because when you're a woman and you're going through pregnancy, postpartum, and all of that, and you're in a community or in a world that's just indifferent to that experience, or they are just ignorant to how it is, not ignorant on purpose, but a lot of us just lack the knowledge. Even mothers, as we're going through it, we don't know what to expect, and we don't know how to understand what our bodies are going through and what the emotional toll is. So it's definitely a real thing that you're experiencing, Faith. Mama Sam says to Faith, it 100% does not sound crazy at all. Your feelings are valid, Mama. Absolutely 1000%, Mama Sam. Faith says, thank you. Judith, welcome, Judith. Judith said, and I lost my friends during this process. It's very lonely. Yeah, especially if you don't have friends who understand, or sometimes you even have friends. This can go a couple of ways. Like, you have friends who don't understand your situation, or they want to be more involved than you're willing to have them be, and maybe they took offense. There's, and I'm not speaking specifically to your situation, Judith, I'm just speaking in general. You could have friends or family members that aren't considerate of the boundaries that you're establishing as you're going through pregnancy and postpartum. And because they're not able to be 1000% in it with you, maybe they just don't want to be a part of it at all. And that's really difficult, because when you're going through postpartum is when you need friends and family to understand you the most. So I'm really sorry to hear that you lost your friends during this process. Mama Sam says to Judith, I'm going to tap in after I read this with some of the YouTube family, y'all, so just bear with me. Mama Sam says to Judith, we're your friends now, and we understand that. I love that, Mama Sam. Lots of love in the chat for the mamas, man. Definitely 1000%. So let me scroll over here with the YouTube fam real quick. Where was the last comment I read? Okay, last one we checked in with Manganyi, and she was talking about getting ready to go back to work and how that's impacting her and giving her anxiety. Caroline says, hey, I know you always, okay, I answered that one. Okay, Caroline says, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Oh, I had shared with you guys what I was experiencing this morning with my own children. She says, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. You're doing great. Working is hard with kids, whether it's an at-home job or an in-office one. I know that every moment I'm away from my kids, even when I'm in a Zoom for work. Absolutely 1000%, man. I hate that our jobs require so much of us so early on in postpartum. It's like, damn, give me a minute to at least see my baby, develop a little bit before you require so much of me. Caroline, I feel guilty too, and I know a lot of moms have guilt about going back to work or whatever it is. It's not even always just limited to work, man. Sometimes it's hard. You even feel guilty putting down your crying baby just because you have to do laundry or you have to get other things done around the house, or you even have other children that you have to tend to. There's so much guilt with trying to figure out the best way to give your kids what they need as far as emotional attention and presence. Mangani says, you're very strong. You are very strong. I can't imagine going back to work 4 weeks postpartum. I'm glad to be a subscriber. Thank you so much for subscribing. And just officially, I put my son in daycare at 6 weeks and I went back to work at 7 weeks. So he went to daycare 2 days before I started back at 7 weeks. So I did have a couple weeks more. Caroline says, yes, my whole family other than my brother is across the world, and luckily my husband has family near us, but I couldn't imagine not having anyone at all. You guys are so strong. So shout out again to the moms who don't have a community. I know we tapped in with a mommy over here with 5 children, or I think it was either 5 kids. I think we have a mom with 5 children. Mama Sam, that might be you. And then we have a mom with 4 kids, 3 of which are under 4.5 years old. So shout out to those moms who don't have a village, because that takes a whole different level of strength to manage that, man. Paula Andrea is checking in from Honolulu. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Shout out to you. Thank you so much, Paula. She says she loves this platform. She's 8 weeks. She has 8-week-old twins, just started sleeping for long periods, and this has been helpful. Oh my God, shout out to the twin mamas. I love the twin mamas. You guys are superstars. So her 8-week-old twins have just started sleeping, and I'm really happy to hear that, because that means that you can get a little bit of rest too, and you need that extra rest, girl, because you're on double duty with those 2 babies. So congrats to you on your twins. Caroline says, does anyone have tips for when you're pregnant and are nauseous but have other kids and duties to take care of? I have 5-month-old twins and I just hate that I feel like crap all the time. Again, shout out to the twin mamas. So anybody want to share any tips for nausea? What I did is I would always recommend trying to stay ahead of it. Usually, like, if you wake up in the morning, like literally within the first 5 minutes of you waking up, man, like put something in your system so that your stomach just doesn't have an opportunity to develop that nauseous feeling, because once the nausea starts, that's when it's super, super hard to get rid of it. So that would be my 2 cents. And maybe try, I know when I was pregnant, the Pedialyte electrolyte powder packets that you put in your water, that was really helpful for me to kind of curb that nausea in the mornings. Caroline says to Paula, oh my God, I remember the little 2-month and a little phase. It was hard, but I'm glad your twins are sleeping longer and they just continue to sleep more and more in my experience. So yes, mama's got to get rest too. So we love when the babies are down for an extended period of time. I got a couple comments here on YouTube, and then I'm going to tap back in with TikTok. Cool Kid says, I have none. Just it'll be me and God. Okay, she says, have none, just it'll be me and God when my husband goes back to work. This will be my first baby, so I don't have much anxiety as to how it will go. I know I'll be tired, just anxious about being alone and him crying and not being able to get him to stop. I think since this is your first baby, man, I always like to think positive thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, we can never prepare for how our baby's gonna be. Every baby has their own little personality, but the amazing thing about women and moms is that whenever we have our children, we just adapt. You know what I mean? Some kind of way, something clicks in us, some sooner than others. It's just you learn your baby and you learn how to take care of them, and you can have a lot of anxiety, especially with your first child, but you're gonna do great, and every mom just has those instincts, man. So I know your baby boy is gonna be well taken care of. Hi, Roderick. Okay, just one more comment here on YouTube. It says, hi, just wanted to tell you that I really admire your videos and how you keep everything together. Off topic, your hair looks so nice. Thank you so much. And this is from Marina. Thank you so much for tapping in, Marina. We're so happy to have you. And if you are a mom and if you do want to share some of your experiences, please do. I'm happy to read out those comments and make sure that we're connecting with you as well. All right, cool deal. So let's tap back into TikTok. Last we tapped on Judith, and she was talking about how she lost some friends during this whole process. So Mama Sam responded, about our community here. And then right now we have 777 says, I'm in the newborn trenches now. Gave birth on the 5th and I have a toddler. Congratulations, mama. You are fresh out. I think today is, so you have a less than a week, a 1 week old, because I think today is the 11th of March. So congratulations to you. Stay strong, man. That's no easy thing to have a newborn and a toddler, because toddlers require so much attention. They have so much energy. You're not getting any sleep. The baby is demanding. It's definitely the trenches for real, man. So lots of love and positivity to you. You can handle it. You're going to do great. Let me see. Mama Sam says to 777, congrats. Take care of yourself as well, mama. Absolutely, guys. We do have to take care of ourselves because we're the ones taking care of these babies. Hold on. Miss Daly, I see you in there. I'm going to shout you out right now. Let me just find my place. I always lose my place in the chat. Take care of yourself. 77 says to Mama Sam, thank you, taking it one day at a time. And that's a great mentality to have, man. Another thing that causes a lot of anxiety of stress is when we anticipate everything that's coming ahead of us. Like, oh my God, I have to be in this stage for another however many weeks or however many months, or oh my God, what am I going to do tomorrow? Like, sometimes it's just a matter of being present and focused on getting through today, because today is enough in itself sometimes to make it through. Lots of love and support from Mama Sam. She says that that's amazing. You got this, to add 77. Miss Daly, hey mama, how are you? Miss Daly has 2 babies, if I'm not mistaken. I think Miss Daly also has a little, I know she has daughters, I think a toddler and a newborn. Miss Daly, correct me if I'm wrong. She says, happy rainy Wednesday. Yes, can y'all see this rain around me, man? Miss Daly says, congratulations to you at 777. Again, she at 777 just had her little girl, or excuse me, her little baby. Her baby is not even a week old yet. 777, lots of thanks and correspondence between the ladies, Miss Daly, 777, and Mama Sam. Mrs. Nat Nat, hey mama, do you want more kids? We're not planning on having any more children. This experience with my son, and I've mentioned this before in the chat, has really opened my eyes to the whole birthing and labor experience. My daughter's labor and delivery was a lot easier, but this whole experience with my son really took me out, man. Like, I just was not prepared for the level of pain. I have never experienced the level of pain that I did with my son when I was in labor, and I only made it to about 6 centimeters before I got the epidural. So just the stress and the trauma that your body goes through, the healing that I had to, you know, like speeding up your healing process to go back to work. I don't know that that's something that I want to experience again. I'm 32, and so I know that I just don't want to put myself into the position, and this may sound a little bit selfish, to have another baby and then have difficulty getting my body to heal and regulate when I get older. So I don't know that that's something that I want to do, but if there's something else in the cards for us, you know, it's not always in our control whether we have babies. I mean, I understand about having protected intercourse and stuff like that, but I'm just saying. Mama Sam says, I lost 10 pounds in the past 2 weeks. I do not have an appetite. Are you breastfeeding? How are you doing? I know that we lose a lot of weight when we're breastfeeding the babies. So that's insane. 10 pounds in 2 weeks is crazy work. And you might tap in with your doctor about that, because I would hope that that's not related to some type of depression. Miss Daly says, hello, Mama Sam. Hope you're having a great day. 777 says, ginger ale and honey heads helped with my nausea. So we had a mom earlier asking, I think Caroline, I think it was you, on YouTube. So 777 from TikTok is saying ginger ale and lemon heads helped with her nausea. And I know 7-Up, ginger ale, Sprite, and crackers was always like the go-to when I was coming up as a kid. That was always mom's remedy, grandmother's remedy for an upset stomach. So thank you for bringing that up, 777. Mama San says to Daily, this community helps. Granola bars. Do you like granola bars? Have some packed with protein, a good option for you. So Miss Daly says to you, Mama Sam, you mentioned that you lost a lot of weight in the last couple of weeks. Maybe try out some protein bars. That's a great food choice. Ensure. So 777 is recommending Ensure to Mama Sam. So if we have anybody here on YouTube that's also experiencing loss of appetite and you're looking for different ways to get some calories and some nutrition, Ensure and granola, protein packed granola bars are what's being mentioned here in the chat. And protein shakes. Mama Sam has been taking protein shakes. And Miss Daly is telling her to get her nutrients, man. Absolutely 100%. All right, y'all, bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to get through all the comments. I lost my place. I see somebody has a baby in the NICU. Y'all just give me 1 second. I'm going to get to all the comments, okay? All right, so Mama Sam is taking y'all up on y'all's advice. She says she's going to have to try them. Miss Daly says, yes, Naimia has such a sweet personality. I love her shorts and her lives. Thank you, ladies. Thank y'all for the support. Thank you guys for supporting each other. Okay, 777 says she was in the NICU. Thank you. She was in the NICU due to high bilirubin levels, but she's at home with us now. And I also want, thank you for saying that. I'm glad baby is home right now. Big shout out to all the moms who had to put their babies straight in NICU. That is something that's really, really difficult. And another situation that people can be really insensitive about, like you're not able to take your baby home and have skin to skin like right away. That is really, really difficult. So shout out to the moms that are experiencing having their babies in NICU. And I'm glad to hear baby is home with you. Home with you now. I am your baby. Welcome back, Mama. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the love and the compliment. Yuji says, I'm a first time mom, but baby is due in July. I'm a first time, but baby due in July. I can't stop thinking about this period. I can't stop thinking about this period. Are you nervous? Are you feeling a little bit anxious? We've had a couple of first-time moms checking in saying that they're feeling a little bit of stress. I know it can be nerve-wracking, and I'm sure a lot of moms in here can relate. But you got this, man. You guys got this. Don't stress yourself out unnecessarily. I mean, you're going to feel that, but try to keep a positive mindset. You want to keep your stress levels down, and you want to keep good energy. Remember, baby feels what you feel. Miss Daly says, just one little one. My nerves can't handle anymore. I always get it wrong. I'm telling you, you guys. So as we continue to talk and chat, I really am trying my best to remember everybody's babies and ages and stuff like that. I'm still kind of working through it. But yes, Miss Daly has one little baby. And she says she said her nerves can't handle any more kids, man. They definitely take a toll. Felicity, welcome back. I remember your name. She says, does anyone else's newborn make these grunts during their sleep? I think you asked about this before, man. And I think, was it you or somebody else who was saying the baby grunts when they're hungry too? So does anyone else's newborn make these grunts during their sleep? It's scary. That's hilarious. My newborn, he does do like, makes a lot of squirming and kind of like while he's sleeping and stuff like that. And for me, it's less scary and it's more like nerve-wracking because I'm just like, is he okay? Do I need to pick him up? Is he hungry? Is he going to wake up out of his sleep? So that's my experience with it. And as far as it being scary, what scares the crap out of me is when my son cries. I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but when he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's hungry and he wants a bottle and he cries, I feel like I'm in a horror movie because I'm just like, if my back is turned to the door, especially like a dark doorway, it just freaks me out when he's screaming in the middle of the night. And I don't know, I don't know what the heck that's about. I never experienced that with my daughter. So tap in if you guys have had a similar experience. I'm going to read a couple more comments here on TikTok and then check in with the YouTube crowd. I am your baby says, congratulations, boo. She says this to @UG. Congratulations, boo. Our baby is due in July as well. Try breastfeeding. It could help with cycle cramps and faster healing. Okay, did I misread the comment? Hold on, let me go back and see. I'm a first time, but baby due in July though. I can't stop thinking about this period. Maybe I misunderstood that, y'all. But yeah, so I am your baby says, try breastfeeding to help with your cramps and faster healing. Okay. Congratulations to you, UG from 777. Miss Daly says to Felicity, not that I can recall, and this is in reference to the baby grunting. She says, not that I can recall, I would record it and share with his pediatrician for peace of mind. Excellent advice from Mama Daly. With our second and third, I barely noticed my cycle was on. And it came maybe 3 months. Okay, so I did misunderstand that. Oh no, I am your baby says to UG, with our second and third child, I barely noticed my period, my cycle was on, and it came maybe 3 months later. So any moms, what is y'all's experience with your period returning? I had, personally, mine came with, I can't remember with my daughter, but with my son, I got my period, I think at 9 weeks, and it lasted like 8 days. And the flow, there was definitely a change in the flow. It was a lot heavier than I was accustomed to. So any moms want to share what their experience was like when their cycle came back, because this one was different for me. So I don't know if it's because I'm on my second baby or what the deal was. Okay, one more comment. 777 says, I wish I lost weight while nursing. I gained with my son. But I think you have to maintain a certain level of like body fat, you know what I mean, for your body to produce milk. I'm not an expert on that. I know that women typically do lose weight because of breastfeeding, so it's interesting that you gained weight while breastfeeding. All right, so hi No, welcome, hi No. Let me tap in real quick with YouTube. You guys, we have about 10 more minutes left. I got to get back to work, and then I will try to make it a habit going forward to do this around lunchtime, and I think that's going to be my window, because the mornings and the evenings are seeming to not be realistic. I just wanted to thank you. I think I read that one. Cool kids. Yes, every baby is differently. Okay, so we're going to read this comment to Cool Kids from Caroline. Tips when you're pregnant or nausea. We read that one about nausea. 2 months, little phase, have none. Cool kids. Okay, so Caroline says to @cool kid, yes, every baby is different, and honestly, usually when they're crying, there's a reason why that you can fix usually. And sometimes, depending on how old they are, they just want to be near you. They just want to be near. Just you taking or singing can help them chill. So yeah, so sometimes we had a mom yesterday asking in the chat, I was feeding my son and she was like, how did you know that he wanted the bottle? So Caroline tapped in on an excellent point. Sometimes babies, they don't need that much. It's either they're hungry, they have a mushy diaper, or like she mentioned, they just want to be near you, and they can be soothed with rocking or singing. So definitely easy fixes with babies sometimes. Mangani says you will be an amazing mom too. Will be an amazing mom. Shout out to you for the positivity, Mangania. Morta Queen, welcome. Caroline says, thank you for the tips. I'll definitely try the Pedialyte. She's feeling nauseous, you guys. Definitely try the Pedialyte. I feel like right now the only thing I can eat is sauerkraut and rye bread, which is odd because sauerkraut is very stinky, but whatever. It's strange. Sometimes our bodies only tolerate certain foods. There's really no way to anticipate, those changes. Cool Kid says, thank you to Caroline. Caroline says, yes, my twins absolutely love music, especially Justin Timberlake, but hey, if it works, it works. So she's responding to Cool Kid. All right, you guys, let me see if I can get some more of these. Sarah says, does he sleep in the room with you? So sometimes he sleeps in his bassinet, sometimes he sleeps in bed with me. It really just depends on what the feeding is looking like. I am trying to get into the habit of when I put myself to bed at night, to put him in his bassinet so that I can at least get myself into a deep sleep and get some kind of solid sleep, because I find a lot of times if I have him next to me or if he's awake or something like that, I can't get any rest. So I'm trying to train myself to put him in the bassinet at least when I get in bed. And then throughout the night as he wakes up for feeds, it's easier to have him in bed near me. So I'm kind of doing both right now. I know there's some moms that exclusively close sleep, and then there's some moms or parents that put their baby in the crib. So I think it varies depending on what meets your needs or what you're trying to train your baby to do. Mangani says, definitely I use a baby pacifier. Caroline says, also for jobs from home, I used to be an online teacher for veterinary assistant and tech programs and OFC. I'm a licensed DVM. What's a DVM? But to teach at all, you can take a course online to be an online teacher. Okay, awesome sauce. I think I must have missed the initial question there. Flower Girl, hey Flower Girl, she says, hello, I found your channel about a month ago and have been binge watching. Thank you so much for the support, man. I have fallen off the last week or so with my shorts, but I hope I can get some more content up there for you guys by next week. If any moms want to tap in, I am trying to modify my schedule to also include some workout videos in there for y'all. So if any other postpartum moms are trying to get back onto their workout routine, you guys tap in and let's see if we can figure out something that works best for us. Sarah says, I got my period, I think 3 months postpartum. I was so mad because I was breastfeeding, LOL. I heard you likely don't get your period when you breastfeed. I also gained tons of weight while breastfeeding. So Sarah, and then we have another mom here who said they was gaining weight when they were breastfeeding. I am your baby. So I am your baby and Sarah, both of you guys are experiencing weight gain through breastfeeding. And I know it's so annoying when your period comes. I did want my period to come though because I was headed back to work and I didn't want to pump at work. So it actually worked out for me. But yes, it's very frustrating. Cool Kid, just wondering, did you breastfeed or formula feed? I did both. My milk didn't come in until I think about the 4th or 5th day after the baby was born. So I had to purchase formula because I didn't have anything at home. While I was in the hospital, I got the donor milk, the donor breast milk, and I bought some to take home, but that supply went out really soon. So I did have to use formula from the jump because I wasn't producing enough. And so right now he's only on formula and he's on the Similac 360 Pro. I think that's what it's called. Caroline is, I'm specifically an online veterinarian now through. So my teaching career is over. Okay, very cool. Very cool. Online veterinarian. I didn't know you could do that. Cool Kid says to Sarah, I heard people go 6 to 9 months without a period while breastfeeding. I guess every person is different, but it sounds like you can go up to, from what Cool Kid is saying, up to 9 months without getting your period back. Okay, y'all, I'm just gonna go through all the messages that I can. I have quite a few here on TikTok. I'm just gonna read them out loud and try not to chime in so I can make sure everybody is acknowledged because I have to get out of here. Mangani says, I gained weight. I eat a lot of produce and milk for breastfeeding. Thank you for the live. Mangani says, for me, my period is still light, but as a result of family planning. Caroline says, I got my cycle again 2 months after I gave birth, which was quick, but my doctor says it was because I'm taller than average and because I'm young. I'm 6'1" and 22. Oh, very cool. Sarah says, yes, I swore I'd never co-sleep, but with my second baby, 7 months old, I start in the bassinet, but after his first feed, I cave in and bring him into bed with me because I'm so tired. I get that completely. Hey, PIX8, he says, PIXK, you are such a hardworking woman. I see your other videos. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Anna says, I breastfed my daughter and didn't get my period until 13 months later. What? Anna went a whole year and month without her period. That's awesome, man. Girl, we are so jealous over here. Anna says, currently 7 months PP with my second and still no period. You are freaking lucky, man. We got some moms over here getting their period at 3 months. You're going a whole year. Caroline says, yes, an online veterinarian is not like urgent as a real life one, but I do stuff that's less urgent, like ear infections or something, but I can write prescriptions. Very, very cool. I love that, man. And I'm sure people find that super convenient because it's such a hassle to have to take your pet in. Sarah says, I know, my body is so rude. Flower Girl, okay, this is my last comment on YouTube, you guys. Flower Girl says, blessing to all mommies. It's not easy. I'm still learning to take time for me, especially having a special needs baby. Shout out to you, Flower Girl. I love that you're prioritizing yourself. Shout out to your baby, man. I'm sure that you're giving them all the love and support that they need. It's not an easy thing to be a special needs child mom, so big shout out to Flower Girl, okay? All right, I'm just tapping in real quick with TikTok, and then I gotta hit the road, guys. Does anyone, okay, I am your baby. I wish I lost weight. Okay, last thing I welcomed No came in. We'll see on here. When you BF, your uterus shrinks. Okay, so I'm Your Baby says, I will say that when you breastfeed, your uterus shrinks and it does hurt for the first 3 weeks. Yes, you do get those cramps. I agree. Felicity says to Miss Daly, thanks. He was also a preemie, so I'm thinking maybe he's learning how to digest. Miss Daly says, you're welcome. Oh yeah, definitely share with pediatrician. Blessings to your preemie fighter. Love that. Heart emoji says, do I still classify as PP after a year? We talked about this before, you guys, and from what we heard, I think it varies person to person, right? But I think it's anywhere from 6 to 1 month, even longer if you had a vaginal birth, and more than 1 year if it's C-section. So I think it just varies person to person. I don't think that you're limited at 1 year to not be considered postpartum, because depending on what kind of birth and delivery, who knows what's going on with your body. I'm Your Baby says, Felicity, yes, you might be able to help with helping them burp and release gas. Miss Daly says, another thought, do you think it could be gas? I used Mommy Bliss gripe water. We talked about gripe water for colic, you guys, and gas. So thank you for bringing that back up. Almani, hey Almani, welcome back. She says, same. I can't have no more than one. I don't know how people can have more. Way too much on my mental. I know everybody has their limit. Some moms can do 1 baby, some 2, and then we have those super moms that have 4 and 5 and 6 babies. Shout out to them, man, because again, that is not an easy task. Some women just have the gift for it, man. Felicity says the gripe water worked for my baby. Excuse me, Miss Daly says the gripe water worked for my baby. Felicity says yes, he has big burps and the Mylicon drops have helped. We also changed formula. That is another thing, ladies. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Felicity. If your baby is having a hard time with gas or colic, to consider changing formula. Miss Daly says, you're fine. It's hard trying to remember everything about your chat, so no worries. Thank you so much, Miss Daly. But now I know you just have the 1 baby. I have to remember that, man. I feel so bad. I've asked you multiple times, so I apologize. 777 says, yes, so my baby wakes up crying in the middle of the night. It makes my heart race. Yes, definitely makes me anxious as well. I get that. I'm Your Baby says to Felicity, that's good. I'm glad you all found something that worked. He might just want some cuddles. Felicity is currently doing some skin to skin, got the baby on the chest. Miss Daly says, love the little one, but I'm 1 and done. I hear you, girl. Kayla says, my baby is about to be 9 months and I have 3 under 3. Shout out to Kayla, sending her love and support. That's not an easy task, mama, so stay strong. 777 says, I nursed until he was 17 months. I only got my cycle once that whole time. Amazing. So we have another mom who didn't get her period for over a year. Miss Daly has to head out, but it was great as usual. You ladies have a great day. See you later, Miss Daly. Thank you so much for being here. 777 says, 3 under 3 to Kayla. You are so strong. Absolutely, 1000%. Have a great day, Miss Daly. From 777. All right, you guys, I think I am at my last comment here on TikTok. Jacqueline, welcome. Jacqueline Coffee Dyer. She says, yes, I was just thinking that before joining, like I'm 1 of 6, but done with 2. Okay, Jacqueline comes from a big family, but she says her limit is 2 babies. And I hear that. You already know what it's like to grow up in a big household. So I get that completely. Shauna, welcome, you guys. I have to head out. Thank you guys for tapping in. Thank you for everybody that's just joining now. A says, how do I overcome my postpartum anxiety? So depending on what exactly you're experiencing, a lot of us have talked about talking to your provider and see if maybe you need to get some medication for stress, or if it's just something that you can handle yourself. Try to figure out why you're feeling anxious. Are you feeling anxious because you're overwhelmed with everything that needs to be done? Is the baby giving you anxiety because it's crying? Like, what's going on in your life that's making you anxious? It's triggered from something. So, hey, I'm so sorry that I caught you at the end like this, but thank you guys for checking in. Mona and Marie, good to see your face again. And I will tap in with you guys tomorrow, hopefully around the same time, but I do got to get out of here. That's the end of my break. And I'm sorry I missed the comments that just came in on YouTube, but again, I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll see y'all next time, okay? See y'all tomorrow.